Right. Right. Okay. Good evening, guys. Welcome to week 2 of our Spartans and IGR online sessions again. Hopefully nobody's feeling too stiff or sore after last week. A couple of sweaty faces I've seen on Instagram stories at the end of it all. As always, guys, have a little look around your training area. Make sure you're wearing sort of suitable footwear. It's not going to be slippy. It's not going to be dangerous underfoot. There's nothing to trip over, anything along those lines. Hopefully, as well, you did see the video that I put up on the IGR workouts page and also on the Spartans players page about the sort of doorway row. Now, I'm actually going to use the ropes that we've got here in the gym, but if you set up your doorway with the towel thrown over the top with the door well closed, that's a perfectly good alternative. Also, if you aren't confident in any of your doorways and you think, you know what, that's not going to work, that's absolutely fine. You don't have to do it. It just changes the workout slightly, but I'll go through that in a few minutes. Right, let's start getting warmed up right away, shall we? So what we're going to start off with is going to be just down onto all fours. We're going to come into camel and cat. So just to arch and then round through the spine. It's just that arch and round. Just getting things moving nice and easy to begin with. Don't force the movement at this stage. Just try and get as much flexion and then as much extension through the spine as you can. Nice and easy. Try and time it with your breathing as well. From there, we're then going to take it into the next one. And the next one is going to be a thread the needle. So thread the needle, what's going to happen is you're going to reach one hand underneath your armpit, and then I want you to come through and reach for the ceiling. So it's that thread through and reach for the ceiling. We're just going to do 30 seconds on this side. And reach. So you're reaching between your hand and your leg. Reach underneath as far as you can to the side. And then back up. Far to the side and back up. After 30 seconds, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So still another 5 seconds or so. Nice deep twist. And switch sides, the same thing. Thread that hand through as far as you can. And then reach up for the ceiling. The temptation sometimes when you reach for the ceiling is to try and lift one knee and get a bigger twist in, but I want you to keep both knees grounded. Twist comes through the spine, through the trunk, through the core. Okay, from there, we're then going to take it into the next stage, which is to rock forward into a press up and then rock back into child's pose. So it's just going to be forward, drop into a press up, staying on the knees, drop back into child's pose. So even if you're able to handstand press up, one arm press ups, doesn't matter what level you're at, I want you to stay on the knees on this one. You're just trying to flow between child's pose and press up. Child's pose and press up. Just working between those two positions, nice and smooth. The smoother you can make this, the better. Okay, we'll go for a full minute. You've still got about 20 seconds of this one. Then we're going to start to work up onto our feet bit by bit. But first, we're coming into press up position. And from there, what I want you to do is you're going to reach up into the air. Nice twist. Come back down. Twist up on the other side. Again, just press up position, no press up in between. If you fancy a bit more of a challenge, just opening up the shoulders, opening up the hips, pivot from side to side. Again, go at your own pace on this one. We're just looking at getting things warmed up. Another 20 seconds. Keep working. Another 15 seconds. Again, this one you may need like a door frame or a wall or something nearby to help you balance. I'm going to use this rope nearby. We're going to do 30 seconds of leg swing. So we're going to change over on your feet. Just starting off relatively relaxed, and then starting to make that leg kick a little bit bigger, a little bit more dynamic. So 30 seconds per side. Squeeze in as many as you want. If you need a drink at any stage, remember this is just a warm up. Quite dynamic leg swing. And obviously get more dynamic as it goes through. Okay, change sides. We swap to the other side, same thing. You can turn around if you want, or you can just stay the same way, as long as you're balancing. And then we're going to try and go side to side. So side to side is a little bit trickier as well. So both hands on your door frame or wall or wherever you happen to be using. Make sure you're back far enough that you're not going to boot the wall or boot your own ankles. Just side to side. Allow the hips to turn nice and smoothly into it. And again, think of that a little bit more dynamic as you go. Okay, change over. So into that side to side. So start small, make it as smooth as possible as you swing from side to side, using the just as the door. Good. Okay, nice to see some unfamiliar faces as well as the regulars. Good to see us. You're very welcome. Okay, guys, swap sides now. Swap sides. So you do the same thing on the other leg. And again, start small, gradually get bigger. Again, try and make it as smooth as possible. So you're allowing your hips to turn each way. So you're allowing your hips to turn, because if you don't allow your hips to turn, you kind of end up with this weird kind of leg block on the other leg. It makes it really difficult to get that kind of rhythm into it. We're then just going to come into a walkout. So a walkout is when we're walking out into a press position. So fold over, hands on the floor, walk out into a press position, and back up onto your feet. Off we go. 1 minute. Try and keep the legs as straight as possible. Again, if I was to show you up on the platform I've made for myself, built myself a stage in here. Fold over, try and keep the legs as straight as you can, but if you need to, bend them, that's fine. Hands down into your press up position. And from there, walk the hands back, stand up at the peak of each rep. Now, for those of you that weren't here last week, keep going, you've still got another 30 seconds. For those of you that weren't here last week, what we do is we've got our warm-up, which we're obviously doing right now. We then get a short break and we go into our strength section. That's going to last 10 minutes today. Following that, you get another break, and then we come into our high-intensity interval training section, which is where we're going to sort of finish off today. That'll be sort of 20-ish minutes where we go there. For the strength section, okay, guys, relax, grab yourselves a drink of water. For the strength section, the goal is to try and work as hard as you can, okay? So it doesn't matter what any other screen is doing. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. You try and get as much work as you can squeeze in over the 10-minute block. So anytime you need a rest, take a rest. Anytime you think to yourself, you know what, this is hard, you need a breather, stop and take a breather. It's absolutely fine. What we do want to do, though, at the end of that is make a note of how much that you got done in that 10-minute block, because we will repeat some of the strength sections in sort of the coming weeks. And what we're going to try and do each time is try and improve from where we try and improve from the marker that we set today, try and do better than that the next time we come back to this one. So this one, really, really simple. There are 2 different strength workouts. The first one is if you are setting up that row. So if you do have access to a set of gymnastic rings like a TRX, or even if you just do the simple towel over the door frame like I set up before on video, brilliant. What you're going to go for is 5 squats, 5 press-ups, and 5 rows. So I'm going to quickly demonstrate that. So your 5 squats. Sit them right down into 5 squats. As soon as you've done 5 squats, it's then down into 5 press-ups. Again, rest where you need to if you do need to, because you want to keep that quality high. And then you come into 5 rows. All right, this time I'm using the ropes that we've got here in the gym. You guys may not have access to that. If you have access to those kind of ropes, I'm very impressed. But if you do have a towel over the door, you can do that. If you don't have access to the towel or the door frame, we're just going to do the first 2 exercises, so squats and press-ups, but it's going to be 10 reps at a time. Okay, so it just becomes a lot simpler. 10 squats, 10 press-ups, 10 squats, 10 press-ups, and work your way through. Give us a quick thumbs up. Everyone happy enough with that? Good. Good. Thumbs across the board. Thumbs across the board. Right. Okay, guys. So we're going to get going 10 minutes on your set as many rounds in as you can possibly squeeze in. So let's get going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So we've got our first round is going to be our 5 squats for our first option. Following those 5 squats, you've then got your 5 press-ups. Now again, set yourself a movement standard. Now, whenever I say that movement standard, what I mean is, if you start off your press-ups on your toes, try and do press-ups on your toes all the way through. If you start off on your knees, stay on your knees all the way through. So you pick that standard. Because what you want to try and do is get an accurate recording, and it's all well and good saying that you did 20 rounds, let's say 20 rounds, in this next 10 minutes, but your first press-ups, you know, were right down here, but then by the time you get to round number 20, you're doing this kind of head bobbing just to get them done. If you have that movement standard, you may end up having to take more rest. That's absolutely fine if you do, but it gives you a really accurate picture of what you've achieved, what you've done. Then we've done our 5 squats, we've done our 5 press-ups. We're then into our 5 rows. That'll be 1 round. Following 1 round, you then start again. Try and get through as many rounds as possible. As many rounds as possible as you go. If you haven't got that towel over the door frame or the gymnastic rings or whatever, the suspension system, your round a lot simpler. Just 2 exercises, 10 reps a piece, so it would be 10 squats. And then it would be 10 press-ups. That'll be 1 round. Again, you try and set as many as possible. For the guys that weren't here last week, worth pointing out here that the gym is actually closed to the public. I'm co-owner of this gym, and we've been filming our online content from here because it's very difficult. I have 2 almost 1-year-old sons at home, and it's virtually impossible to record anything now that they're mobile. Lockdown 1, it was a little bit easier because they usually stay in the same spot. Now they're everywhere. You may see 1 or 2 of my colleagues bringing kit in and out from the car park. We've been training 1-to-1 outdoors, which I think I said this last week anyway. It's a lot harder this time round, especially with the weather. Whereas in lockdown 1, we had beautiful sunshine most of the time. Made things a lot easier. Snow and rain is not as much fun to train in. So we are 3.5 minutes gone. 3.5 minutes gone. So 6.5 minutes left to go. And again, good. I can see a couple of people do have the towel set up over the door frame. Let's have a little look around the houses. Looks good. If anybody's towel does slip out of the door frame, I'll do my best not to laugh, but I can't promise anything. Good, looks good. So again, while you might have an elevated heart rate during this one, not the goal. The goal is how much work can you squeeze in. Again, I've got the ropes here, so I'm going to stick with the squats, press-ups, and rows. 5, 5, and 5. But again, it's up to you. It's a personal amount of work. Because as always with anything in fitness, it's not about just how fit you are today. It's about how fit you are tomorrow compared to today. Your goal is progression. If you can try and progress, make yourself stronger, make yourself fitter as you go along. We are almost halfway through. We're about 4 minutes and 53 seconds gone. So we're approaching that 5-minute mark very fast. There you go. There's 5 minutes. You're halfway through. Halfway through. Now, at this stage, if you think to yourself now that if you've done 5 rounds, 6 rounds, whatever, try and match that now in the second half. Can you match that number of rounds again? Can you match that work rate? Good for any of the forwards here, like myself. You probably are, like me, a bit more to shift around, to get up and down off the floor. It makes things a little bit harder. Look at this. I've done like 2 rounds demonstrating. I'm out of breath. It's not a great advertisement, is it? Which is why you can only really compare to yourself, because you're the only person who's as old as you are, has the same history, has the same nutrition. That's the only way you can truly compare. There we go. We've reached the 6.5 minute mark. 6.5 minutes gone. That's just 3.5 minutes left to go. So you're about 2/3 of the way through, give or take. Now again, like we had last week, you will have 2 solid minutes to rest. At least 2 minutes to rest after this 10-minute block. So if you feel that you do need some extra rest, take it. Try and work as hard as possible across this last 3 minutes. You may get more and more out of breath. That's fine. Don't let the movement suffer. So if you notice, I've been squatting right down as low as I can. What I don't want to do is suddenly start doing knee bends. Just a little half squat. I want to try and maintain that depth in the squats. Now again, that doesn't mean that if you're doing shallow squats, that doesn't mean they're worth any less. It just means don't change. So if you're doing a half squat, maybe you do have some bad knees, bad hip, something that means you can't get that full depth. That's fine. Don't change it suddenly into just a little hip thrust. Make sure you keep that movement quality, you keep that movement standard. Two minutes remaining. 2 minutes remaining. Not looking good though. Let's have a little look across around the houses, around the cameras. Good, we've gone. I think last week we had a couple of partners, housemates, all training together. Looks like everybody's falling out with each other. I don't see anybody that's got any friends in with them in tonight. Lockdown's tough. Try to be nice to each other. Guys, 60 seconds remaining. 60 seconds remaining. So again, hopefully, if you don't know what it is by now, it's a bit late, but you've got your 5 squats, 5 press-ups, 5 rows. That's option 1. Or option 2 is 10 squats, 10 press-ups, and you just keep alternating between those. After this, you shouldn't hopefully need any extra work or any extra equipment. Although if you do have some dumbbells or kettlebells or anything like that, and you want to use that during the hit section, you can do, but it's not necessary. 25 seconds remaining. 25 seconds remaining. Again, hopefully you've kept a little mental note of how many rounds you've done. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time on that first block, guys. Time on that first block. So you do have at least 2 minutes. At least 2 minutes to rest. Get your breath back, grab yourself a drink, make a note of where you got to, whether that's on your phone, whether it's in a notebook, because in 2 weeks, we will be repeating this part of the workout. We will be repeating this part of the workout. So, I'm just going to set up my timer for the second half. So, what's going to happen in the second half is we're going through 40 seconds of one exercise, 40 seconds of a second exercise, and 40 seconds of rest. That's the pattern that we're going to follow all the way through. We do all the way through the whole circuit, then we start again. We go all the way through the circuit a second time, and we're done. So 40 seconds of exercise 1, 40 seconds of exercise 2, 40 seconds of rest. That's going to be the pattern all the way through. This time, it's about keeping moving. Obviously, I want you to have the best movement quality possible, but it's about trying to keep the heart rate up and trying to get as much work done across each 40-second block as possible. So our first pair of exercises, I'll quickly demo those for you, is going to be, number 1 is going to be a shuffle squat. So it's a little bounce on the spot, and it's just going to be that 1, 2, squat. Okay, so it just ends up being 1, 2, 1, 2, each time. Shuffle, shuffle, squat. Shuffle, shuffle, squat each time. Yeah. If you struggle with that big forward, big back, you can just do a really simple bounce, bounce, squat. Bounce, bounce, squat. That's absolutely fine. So exercise number 2 in that is going to be hip flap. So press up position, reach back, flap your own hips. Yep. That's the first 2 exercises. So we're going to get going. I'll demo the next pair during each 40-second rest. So listen out for the beat. There's a 10-second countdown first. We're going in 10 seconds. So that shuffle squat, bounce, bounce, squat. Going in. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So shuffle squat. That bounce, bounce, squat. Again. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, squat each time. Again, if you struggle with that shuffle, just bounce, bounce on the toes. But staying quite light on the feet. Good. Like I said, 40 seconds of work. Try and keep going, nice and light on the feet. Bounce, bounce, squat. Bounce, bounce, squat. Bounce, bounce, squat. Just get it going. Ready, and switch. Let's go. So we're into that press up position. Off you go. Press up position. Slap the hip. So reach back. Slap your hip. Slap your thigh. Just keep alternating sides. It's good. If you need to make that easier, tap your shoulder instead, or you can drop down to your knees as you do it. Time, 40 seconds to recover. 40 seconds to recover. So what's going to happen on this next one? We're coming into a split squat. So right foot forward, left foot back. It's just going to be 40 seconds of split squat. Try and keep moving once you can. Try not to stop at any stage for 40 seconds. Then you're going to put right hand down. It's going to be a side plank hip thrust. So hips down, hips up, hips down, hips up. Those are your two exercises. So right foot forward and right hand down. So we're going to go for right foot forward. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Off we go. So right foot forward, split squat. So again, knee touch. Try and get your knee just to tap the floor. Just a light touch. And try and keep moving. Now you can go for a big movement all the way up, all the way down, or you can just go for a pulse. They are equally difficult as long as you're working for that 40 seconds. Then side plank hip thrust, side plank position, drop your hips down, lift your hips up. Change over in 3, 2, 1, off we go. So hips down, hips up, hips down, hips up, off we go. Try and keep yourself completely side on, so don't twist that way, don't twist towards the ceiling. You're just trying to face completely to the side, hips down, hips up. If you need to make this one easier, bend your knees and do it from the knees. It's the same exercise. Ten more seconds. The next block is the exact same thing, but you're going to go left foot forward, left hand down. Time, 40 seconds to rest, 40 seconds to rest. So it's the same, same pattern. It's going to be left foot forward this time for the split squat, and left hand down for the side plank hip thrust. So like I say, same thing, same two exercises. 10 seconds. Again, split squat. Try and keep moving. And then as soon as you've done that, left hand goes to the floor. Off we go. It says left hand, doesn't. Puts my right hand down to demonstrate. That's good advertising. Can't even tell right from left. So we're in that split squat, left foot forward. Again, we cycle through everything once, and then we go through it again, and that's us done then. So you know everything you've done, you're only going to do it once more. Ready, and switch. So we go left hand, hip thrust, to that left hand down, hips to the floor, hips up into the air. Again, if you need to make it easier, bend the knees, feet behind you, and go from the knees. Still lifting the hips up and lowering down. You should feel his obliques, the sides of the core, working in this one. The next challenge on the next one, sumo squat and calf raise. Time. Okay, 40 seconds to rest. 40 seconds to rest. Your next one becomes a sumo squat with calf raise. So again, wide stance, really wide stance, toes out at about 45 degrees, squatting right the way down, press up onto the toes and back down. So it's that calf raise in that position. So again, keeping knees out, toes out, and just press up onto the toes high as you can and back down to flat feet. That's the first 40 seconds. Your second 40 seconds is then down dog to toe tap. So all that is from there, reach back, tap your toes on the opposite side, tap your toes on the opposite side. Off we go with the sumo squat and calf raise. Sumo squat and calf raise. So wide stance, toes out, knees out, and just come into calf raise. You're going to try as much as possible not to come up So your shoulders and everything stays at the same height. You press up, changes around the hips further down. So you're not sort of bouncing up and down, it's under control, up and back down. And we're going to do that. I've got another 7 seconds. Reach back, tap the toes on the opposite side. Off we go. So reach for your toes. You can't reach your toes, so be it, just reach for your shin or your knee, whatever is easiest to access. It's from that press up into that downward facing dog. So press up position, up into downward facing dog. Gonna grab a mat for my next one. Time. Okay. 40 seconds to rest. This is another right side, left side one. So you're going to do right leg on the ground. So right leg is on the ground, left leg is in the air, keep it bent or straight, it doesn't matter. It's going to be a single leg, glute bridge. So keeping your foot flat, trying to press down through the middle of the foot, just glute bridge. At the end of that block, then it becomes a crunch. Keeping your left foot elevated. Your left foot is in the air for this first one, your right foot is on the ground. Off we go, let's go. Your bridge to begin with, single leg bridge. Foot stays flat on the floor. Try and push through the middle of the foot. Try and push through the middle of the foot. The crunch follows that in 20 seconds. I think you might be able to guess what the next pair is. It's the same thing the opposite way around. You still keep your foot off the floor. We'll change over in 6 seconds. We're still currently that bridge. And change. So now we're into that crunch. So try and lift your upper back and shoulders from the mat or from the floor in that crunch. Get as much of a squeeze through that as you can. If you need the support for your head, that's fine. Just make sure you're not pulling on your neck. You're not putting that pressure through the neck. Another 10 seconds of this. And then we do the same thing on the other side. And then we start again after that. Time, 40 seconds to recover. 40 seconds to recover. So the next pair of exercises is the exact same, just on the other side. Exact same on the other side. So use that opportunity. Grab yourself a quick drink. Try not to choke on it like I'm doing right now. So we're going to go for our final round, or final exercises in the first round. So in that left leg bridge and the crunch, going in 3, 2, 1. Let's go for it. This time, left foot on the floor, bridge. Again, hips up, back down. Middle of the foot. I try to make sure I'm not going to fall off my platform, the stage. When you've done 40 seconds of that, then you're going to become that same crunch, but this time you keep your right leg elevated. That being said, if you did it wrong the last time, make sure you do it wrong this time too. Change, let's go. So we're into that crunch. Right, this takes us to the end of round 1. We're only going to have your 40 seconds of rest. We're not going to have anything extra. And then we go through the same circuit again. We go through the same circuit again. So if you remember, you've got your shuffle squat, that bounce, bounce squat as your first exercise. You come up next after your rest, obviously. 2, 1, time. Okay, that's one round done. You've got one round left to go. So again, just a quick reminder, this is going through the second time. So you've got that 1, 2, squat. 1, 2, squat. Is your first one, and then your second one is that hip slap. So is that feet back, tap the hip. Trying to maintain that full press position, not changing that press position. So shuffle squat, bounce, bounce, squat, and then the hip slaps. Hip slaps, hip taps. Second round starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Off we go. So bounce, bounce, squat. So on the third bounce, you always try and land feet together. So it goes 1, 2, 3, and then you're ready to squat. Try and land quite soft legs as well. So there's not a huge amount of impact coming into it. But again, if you can't get that rhythm, it is just that bounce, bounce, squat, bounce, bounce, squat. You don't even have to move your feet. Just bounce, 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 bounce. We're into those hip slaps in 3, 2, 1. Change over. So into those hip slaps. So into that press up position. Try and stay as stiff as possible. So you're not trying to rock your hips from side to side. You're trying to stay quite steady in that press up position. It's just your arm moves. Now there'll always be a little bit of movement from the rest of the body. You're trying to minimize it. You're trying to minimize that as much as possible. So go into that'll be the first pair done, never to be done again. Completely finished after this. You still get your 40 seconds of rest. Time. Okay, guys. So again, a little reminder. We've got our split squat. Again, right foot forward in the first round. So split squat. When we've done 40 seconds of that, then it becomes side plank, hip thrust with right hand on the floor. That is your next pair of exercises. But still 10 seconds to rest. Okay, split squat. Let's go for it. Let's go. Right foot forward, left foot back. In the split position. Yeah. Let's have a little look around the cameras. No, he's not. Good. Try and keep your weight forward as much as possible in this one. Try and keep your knee above your ankle. Your right knee stays above your right ankle. Going to change over into that side plank. Now, off we go. That side plank hip thrust. So remember the easier version. Knees tucked in behind. Now, if you feel that your wrists need a break, I probably should have mentioned this earlier. If you feel you want to make it a bit easier on your wrist, just come down onto your forearm instead. To make you a little bit more stable. It also takes the pressure off the wrist. It can be a little bit tight with that one. What it does do as well is actually reduces your range of motion a little bit. So just be wary of that as you go too. Seven seconds, and you get another rest. Time. Okay, guys, rest. Again, we do the same pair of exercises, but this time on the left side. So left foot forward and left hand down. Now, during that one, look at the camera. I've seen people doing split squats, and when they come down, they're sort of doing a lot of forward and back motion. I want you to try and keep your knee as far forward as possible. Try and keep under tension. So notice I'm not actually straightening my front leg. My back leg does straighten, but not front. And then from there, it's into your side plank with your left hand. Your left hand doesn't. You get it right. You get it correct. Ready? Let's go. Up we go. So in that split squat, try and keep the weight forward. So knee stays above the ankle. That looks better from. Good. If you do feel One or two of you wobbling a bit. If you do need to use a wall or anything alongside just to help you balance, that's fine. As long as you're not using whatever you're balancing on, you kind of haul yourself back up, that's fine. Last 10 seconds. If you won't have any more split squats after this, you're then into that side plank hip thrust. My correct side moves. Okay, off we go. Let's go. So we're into that side plank hip thrust. And hips down, hips up. Again, you can bend the knees, you can come down onto the forearm, whatever position feels most comfortable or most effective. Key thing, try to imagine your hips on a rail, straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down. So they're not curving round, you're not turning your body towards the floor, or turning your body towards the ceiling, just straight up, straight down. Time, good. We're into that sumo squat and calf raise. So again, that wide stance, hips down, up onto the toes, and back down. You're going to try and keep your upper body level or as still as you can. When you've done those, then you're coming into that down dog. So from your rest position, tap the toes on the opposite side, or as close as you can get. You've got your sumo squat with calf raise first. So it should be quite a challenging one round the hips. Ready? Let's go. Off we go. So sumo squat, calf raise. So hips down, up onto the toes and back down. Try and get right up, high as you can. It's almost getting you deeper into that squat. What you'll probably feel is quite juddery, dropping your heels down. That's fine if it is. Just get as much control as you can. We've got 10 more seconds of this one, and then you're into that down dog or press up into down dog where you reach back, try and tap the toes on the opposite side. Let's go. Off we go. So again, into that press position, reach back, tap the toes on the opposite side.
Like a comedy sketch.
I've already agreed about you guys coaching outdoors and having to carry it. Okay, 10 more seconds, 10 more seconds. Some of you may have seen one of my colleagues unsuccessfully trying to sneak his way across there. Unnoticed. Time! Now we're into our last four. So you've got your glute bridge, followed by the crunch. The first one, remember, left foot in the air. So left foot in the air for the first round. So that means right foot down, left foot up. And it's a bridge. Following that, then it's that crunch. Each time. Those are your two exercises. And you just got to do right in the first round, left in the second round. Let's go for it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Off we go. So right foot down, left foot up. That's single leg bridge. So it's good every time I come forward to look around the cameras to see how people are doing. Yeah, looks good. I keep catching sight of my own beard that's been hidden underneath the mask all day. Not a good look. Okay, guys, we're going to change over into that crunch in 2, 1, change. Let's go. So we're into that crunch. So again, stay right foot down, left foot up. Just that crunch. So the question is, whenever we're all allowed to play each other again, you know, who's gonna be the fittest team? That's the big question. I suspect I'm not going to be the fittest one to do that. Last couple of seconds. Time. You've only got one more pair. It's the same pair, just the opposite side. So this time it is right foot in the air, left foot on the floor. So right foot in the air, left foot on the floor. Final minute and 20 seconds, so 40 seconds of each exercise, and we are done at that stage. Yeah. I feel like I'm being maybe too nice with me. 40 seconds of rest. I might shorten the rest next time around. Everybody seems dead cold in, chilling out, lying down on the floor. Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Off we go. So this time, right foot in the air. Try and press down through the middle of the foot. Try and press down through the middle of the foot. So you're not trying to come up onto the toes. See, every time you get something coming up onto the toes, on the steps or flat on the floor as you do those bridges. If you're feeling this in the lower back, think about trying to curl your hips up off the floor bit by bit by bit. Try not to lift everything as one big go. That should help prevent some of the stiffness in the lower back. And team, so into crunches. This is the final round now, so into those crunches. This is your last 40 seconds. Try and maintain that squeeze. Every time that you crunch up, try and hold that crunch for a second and then relax back out of it each time. So don't go for maximum number. Think about going for maximum squeeze. So again, up, squeeze and release. Up, squeeze and release each time. Trying as much tension, as much, trying to get the muscle to squeeze as hard as it possibly can. 2, 1, time. Okay, guys. If you took part all the way through, fantastic. Give yourself a thumbs up. Give yourself a little round of applause. Pat on the back, whatever you want, guys. Well done. A couple of you doing that from the floor. That's good to see. Good to see people getting up again as well. So if you have been taking part the first 2 weeks, next week we will be repeating the strength workout from week 1. We will be repeating the strength workout from week 1. So make sure you know what score you got, because you're going to try and beat that score again. You're going to try and beat that score, get a higher score the next time around. But yeah, really, really well done. I should turn that off. Really well done tonight, guys. Great to see a few extra faces in there as well. Hopefully I'll see you guys next week. But hopefully the lockdown doesn't go on super long either. Right, I'll see you guys later. I'm going home for something to eat.
Cheers, Neil.
You're very welcome.
Cheers, thank you.
Thanks, Neil.
Thank
Hey,
you,
guys.
Neil.
Well done.
Cheers, Neil. Thank you.